developers, Spot the Leopard, have proposed to implement a luxury tour deep within the Botswana rainforest, which has raised concern in the area. The 4-day wildlife encounter within Chobe National Park aims to educate guests about the protection of wildlife and their habitats, as well as the challenges Botswana faces in terms of conservation through their up-close and personal encounters. As part of their development plans, Spot the Leopard will permanently erect luxury tents which will provide tourists with a 5-star hotel room-like overnight experience. Tents will be dispersed across 4 locations. Save the Leopard Foundation is one of many conservation organisations within the region concerned about the well-being of the animals and the environment that this project will oppose. As this foundation prides itself on ensuring the conservation of endangered species such as the leopard, African wildlife and all animal habitats through preservation, protection and reforestation, it is easy to see why the development of this wildlife encounter would be a hot topic of concern for this company. While Spot the Leopard Tours will be donating a portion of its profits to the Save the Leopard Foundation and providing employment opportunities for locals, Save the Leopard has its reasons as to why this development should not go ahead, such as the noise and pollution brought into Chobe by tourists. To get an understanding of both sides, today we will be hearing from 2 of these stakeholders, Sylvia Leodore, a spokesperson from Save the Leopard Foundation, and Peter Sullivan from Spot the Leopard Tours. Thank you to both of you for coming in today. So first of all, Peter, I'll go to you. What is the focus of Spot the Leopard?
Thanks, Emily. We are very excited to be sharing our tour package proposal with you. Spot the Leopard's wildlife safari experience has been designed to cater to the needs of international tourists looking to escape from their city metropolises and get in touch with their wild side. Botswana is an amazing country with huge potential for wildlife resources. And by capitalising on these natural resources, Spot the Leopard hopes to boost tourism within Botswana, therefore benefiting the local community, providing job opportunities and improving infrastructure which will help to grow the economy.
Those are all important points. However, I was just interested in how your company would go about providing up-close and personal experiences with the wildlife.
So our tours will consist of a 4-wheel drive safari to areas rarely accessed by tourists, a hippo cruise along the Chobe River, and the opportunity to camp amongst these amazing animals. All of these experiences will allow tourists a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be within meters of these fascinating creatures and allow them new insight into the life of the leopard and other animals located within the national park.
Great, thanks for that, Peter. So Sylvia, the Save the Leopard Foundation is 100% dedicated to animal conservation, as we know, and with a large number of tourism services operating within Botswana already, I get the impression that your foundation faces many challenges surrounding conservation within this particular area.
Thanks, Emily. We are currently facing many challenges in Chobe National Park, the potential development of this tour included. It cannot go ahead. Leopards are elusive in nature and actually spotting them will already pose a challenge for this tour's success. Chobe National Park is rich with life unlike anywhere else in the world, and we need to conserve and protect the habitat of the leopards, hippos, hyenas, elephants, cheetahs and many others. Our foundation studies the wildlife. These ecosystems are fragile and any interruption can greatly impact on the food chain. For example, the noise created by building these luxury tents will frighten birds, small mammals and insects away or into hiding. These animals are the diet of the leopards and in the short term will therefore impact on their ability to hunt. There are also many other concerns surrounding the sustainability of this tour, such as erosion, deforestation and pollution. This is why I'm against the development of leopard luxury tours.
Obviously, as a tourism operator, I am aware of the risk of animal endangerment. However, I believe that when managed appropriately and sustainably, I think it's fair to say the pros outweigh the cons.
How so, Peter?
So our business is 100% reliant on the existence of this wildlife, and I think it is therefore in our best interest to ensure that our operations are sustainable and have the potential for long-term growth.
That is what you say, but all tourist operators are the same. No care for nature, just money for their pockets. I've seen it all before. Your understanding of sustainability is not the same as ours.
So let's jump back to sustainability. There is a clear difference between the interpretations from each company here. Peter, what does sustainability mean for you and your company?
So, like I said before, sustainability is about providing opportunities for long-term growth and the benefit of the local community and environment. By donating our profits to the Save the Leopard Foundation, we are aiming to create a balance between tourism and conservation. Operating as a luxury tour company means that we're targeting those high-income individuals with sufficient disposable income available to invest into the conservation efforts. In addition, targeting this niche market will allow us to concurrently restrict the carrying capacity and reduce the organisation's ecological footprint while still raising the much-needed funds. Offering a guided tour rather than allowing individuals to self-guide allows us to monitor the tourist behaviour and activities so as to minimise any disruption to these animals, who we rely on for the operation of our safari tours and the enjoyment of visitors. The saying, "Take only photographs and leave only footprints," will be heavily implemented and used as a way of raising awareness for the ways in which our everyday actions impact upon the wildlife.
So through financial contribution to Save the Leopard, high costs, the provision of employment opportunities for local, it could be easily interpreted that Spot the Leopard's main focus is on the economy rather than the environment.
So as an ecotourism organisation, we have a heavy focus on supporting conservation efforts, and thus we stress the importance of education on all our tours.
Very interesting. Thank you for that, Peter. Education is a very critical mechanism within tour companies, and studies have shown that without education, and especially follow-up, the message is just not getting across to those who partake in such activities. So Sylvia, back to you. What does sustainability mean to you?
Save the Leopard Foundation believes that sustainability is when there is little to no impact on the environment by humans, and all resources being used are renewable. Leopards are a vulnerable species with their only predator being humans. This is why we are protecting their environment from human impacts to increase their population. This tour threatens the environment with its four-wheel drive tours and luxury tents that will need to destroy the dense forest where the animals live to make paths. It is not sustainable. It is indeed economical. And where will they get all the luxury food for these luxury guests? Overseas. That money will not be going into Botswana, but will create a lot of waste in the rainforest. This will harm the wildlife. Leopards cannot be eating leftover wine and cheese. The tour industry here is already saturated, and another one will only harm the leopards.
So we are aware that many of these native animals are vulnerable, but we believe that tourism has huge potential to educate people about these issues and encourage them to change their habits for the benefit of conserving the wildlife for future generations. By increasing awareness and implementing sustainability programs, we will be able to contribute the financial resources you require for your conservation efforts. If not for the donations from organisations such as ours, how else are you going to raise these funds?
We already receive regular donations and hold fundraising in Botswana and internationally. We do not need your help.
Peter, you keep mentioning education, but how does your company ensure that what your guests learn actually changes their behaviour?
After the tour is over, we stay in touch with the tourists on updates on ways they can help with conservation in a meaningful way.
Clearly, sustainability can be a mixture of economic, environmental and ecological factors. However, both Peter and Sylvia, I can see that you agree that sustainability is all about the future.
Yes.
Great. Moving on, I understand that tourism has a significant impact on Botswana, with 2014 figures revealing that the total contribution of travel and tourism to Botswana's GDP was 8.5%, and of this, foreign visitor spending accounted for 70.8%. Peter, can you explain this further?
Yeah, that's correct. These figures are also expected to rise by around 5% in the coming years, therefore highlighting that this is a growing economy and one in which there is significant potential for tourism development and employment opportunities.
These numbers are quite significant. I just want to discuss the model of high cost, low impact, which is widely heard of within the Botswana tourism industry, and then get your opinions on what this strategy means for you. So as you know, the low-cost side of this theory refers to minimising the impacts tourism has on the environment. One way they do this is by restricting the occupancy of camps, which ultimately allows guests to have a more exclusive experience. Furthermore, on-road transportation of supplies and guests is minimised, not only due to location of most camps, but again to reduce environmental footprint. On the other hand, in order to maintain a low environmental impact, the costs are extremely high. Every year, the tourist companies operating within Botswana pay hundreds of thousands of dollars to lease out particular parts of the land, and these costs also include the agreement to have sustainable practices. Unfortunately, as most of these tourist operators are located in secluded areas, all supplies of waste will be transported to and from South Africa by airplane, again increasing the costs tourists have to pay. Therefore, the question I want to ask you, Sylvia, first, is do you think this model is effective in the conservation of Botswana's natural landscape, and is there any other way you could go about reducing the impacts?
High cost, low impact would be a great model for reducing the negative impacts of tourism if it was actually being followed. Although it is clear that Spot the Leopards luxury tours have absolutely no intention of being legitimately environmentally friendly. It is just a high cost and that you push the leopards their food and their habitat away model.
Peter, from a developer's perspective, do you think these costs are actually necessary?
So these costs are necessary to ensure the sustainability of our practices. The high-end nature of our tourists mean that we are limiting access to these remote areas and aim to minimise the disruption to this wildlife species.
That is something for Botswana government to consider in the future, definitely. And finally, one last question for both of you. Sylvia, do you think Spot the Leopards tour should be introduced within Botswana, and why?
Tourism is important to Botswana, but creating another luxury tour is not what we need. There are already comfort camping tours and lodges in the Chobe National Park. We also already have cruises on which tourists can see hippos. We cannot afford to lose any more of Botswana's leopard habitat to tours, especially in the deepest, least disrupted parts of the rainforest. The constant flow of people can impact on the behaviour of these wild creatures and will do more harm than good. Not to mention the litter, noise and air pollution that people create. And you should also consider the dangers of the deep forest to the well-being of international visitors. Did you know that previously undisturbed hippos are more likely to defend their territory and attack or tip boats? Thousands of people die from hippo attacks each year in Africa. They are dangerous animals. I wouldn't recommend Western tourists come to untouched rainforest, even with a local tour guide. They will not be respectful to the rainforest. What Botswana really needs is to keep its rainforests safe.
Peter, what are your thoughts?
So our local guides are trained and have intimate knowledge of wildlife behaviour in the wilderness area, so they can assist in ensuring the tourist safety.
Well, there you have it, folks. Will another tourist company be welcoming tourists in the near future, or will the environmentalists win and continue their fight to animal freedom? I'm Emilie McPhee. Thank you for listening. Stay tuned and have a great night.